creating a podcast. Join 3 international students from Romania, Sierra Leone, and Rwanda as 3 journalists work together on the ins and outs of podcast creation.
So now consciously I try not to barge in. And I'm like, okay, keep talking, I'll listen. Podcasting is an interesting form of storytelling. It is easy to execute. It is easy to, document stories. And also in the process, you end up getting some very strong, powerful stories. Back in India, I used to train like the Indian NGOs, like our partner NGOs, and in storytelling, how to write stories and how to document stuff. Yeah. And every time I do something like this, I also gain a lot actually, because everybody comes with a different perspective of approaching things. So my podcast was about motherhood crossing borders. It was about how married women with kids, internationals, but like non-UK people, how they come to UK to do a master's despite having a family and kids back home. But how these 2 people whom I met, I was really inspired by their stories, and so I thought, yes, why not? Yeah. And the way they were saying, one of them, they were saying that if I don't do it now, what example will I be setting for my daughter? But while one person, her kids are around 7 years and 11 years, the other one, when she left last year in September, the baby was just 6 months old, but having to take that decision to leave your 6-month-old baby behind, in Uganda, and to come all the way for 1 year, that's such a big decision, and you need so much of support, whether we want to accept it or not, but you need a lot of support in that kind of a situation, mentally and all the. So, and how this one person did not have any support, and she was trying for almost 15 years to take this decision. While I was doing the interviews, I had a set structure in my mind, a set of questions that I would want to ask them. But once they started talking, the conversation flowed so much that I forgot about my questions, and because they told me so much more than what I was expecting. And that's why I had a lot of trouble in editing, because I had to fit in that 20 minutes. And I actually enjoyed. I edit on Adobe Audition. That is what the software that I use. And then it is so easy and it is so helpful. Because for me, it was the first time using that software, and it was like magic. Oh my God, seriously, the way it cleans the audio, and you can cut different sections of the audio and just replace it, like you can just play around with the whole audio. So I enjoyed editing, but also it's a lot of work. And I also plan to do it once I go back to India, because I will be in the development sector. And so now I see how easily it can be used in documenting the stories of the people with whom I work with. So yeah, so I'm interested. And I think this whole process of the workshop that we did, the way you said, it is kind of creating a container. I like this concept of people coming together as a group. Then most of us, we are also under, it's kind of a checks and balance, Yes. We know that, okay, we have to share something now. So we cannot just sit back and procrastinate. We'll do. Because when you're answerable and accountable to a group, I think that's also a very good exercise sometimes. It pushes you to just do things on time, which is something that I really need. sometimes I really need that accountability. Somebody needs to ask me, when are you giving it to me? What time are you giving it to me? Only then I'm like, oh yes, I have to do it. Sometimes I don't have too much of patience sometimes. So, when I'm talking to someone, it happened with me, but I'm trying to change that over the years, because initially I also remember when I'm talking to someone, you might be saying something very interesting, but that is not what I want to hear now. So, just tell me what I want to hear. So, but that is, and then, and also many people pointed out that to me, so that you need to listen well, you need to listen. So I'm like, okay, fine. So now consciously I try not to barge in. And I'm like, okay, keep talking. I'll listen.